We've all been there, right? You're in a fight with your partner that just goes around and around in circles, and by the end, you both just feel hurt, misunderstood, and even further apart. Well, today we're going to dive into Dr. Sue Johnson's incredible book, Hold Me Tight. It's basically a roadmap for understanding why those conflicts happen and, more importantly, how you can actually heal them and build a connection that's deeper and more secure than ever.
Sigmund Freud really hit the nail on the head with this one. To love someone is to be vulnerable. And that right there, that's why fights in a relationship can hurt so much. When the one person you're supposed to be able to count on feels distant or unavailable, it can trigger this primal panic deep inside us. And that's not just you being dramatic. It's a very real survival instinct kicking in.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we're going to get to the bottom of why our relationships can be so painful. Then we'll pinpoint these toxic cycles Dr. Johnson calls the demon dialogues that so many of us get stuck in. After that, we'll look at the specific conversations that can actually break you out of those traps. And finally, we'll talk about how to keep that love and connection going for the long haul.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Why do our most important relationships sometimes cause us the most pain? Well, Dr. Johnson's work points to a really surprising truth. The real problem isn't the fighting or who's right or who's wrong. The root of the distress is actually a loss of that secure emotional connection, that feeling that, no matter what, someone's got your back.
This whole idea is grounded in something called attachment theory. Now, this isn't some new agey concept. It's hard science. It shows us that our need for a deep, secure bond with another person isn't some kind of character flaw or weakness. It's literally wired into our biology. It's a survival mechanism. Just like a baby needs a parent, we as adults need a secure partnership to feel safe and really thrive.
I love this quote because it just completely flips the script on how we've been taught to see love. It's not just some nice bonus, the icing on the cake. According to the science, a secure, loving connection is a fundamental human need, right up there with oxygen and water. So when that need isn't being met, our brain doesn't just feel sad. It registers danger, a real threat.
And here is the absolute key takeaway. Those reoccurring arguments, the ones about the dishes, about being late, about money, they're almost never about the thing you think you're fighting about. Dr. Johnson calls them protests. They're actually desperate protests against that fear of being disconnected. Underneath it all, the real questions are you there for me? Do I still matter to you? Can I count on you?
So how exactly does this fear of disconnection spiral into those really destructive patterns? Well, when that panic of being alone kicks in, we tend to fall into these really predictable, painful loops. And Dr. Johnson has the perfect name for them: the demon dialogues.
Just being able to spot these patterns is the first huge step toward changing them. And here's the most important insight. The demon dialogue, that negative cycle, that is the enemy. It's not your partner. You're both just caught in this horrible dance that neither of you wants to be. So let's see if any of these sound familiar. First, you've got find the bad guy. This is just a cycle of mutual blame. It's you did this, no, you did that, and you both end up feeling attacked and defensive. Then there's the protest polka. This one's super common. One person pursues, maybe by criticizing or demanding, trying to get a reaction while the other person withdraws to feel safe, which, of course, just makes the pursuer protest even louder. And finally, there's freeze and flee. This is where things have gotten really quiet and really cold. Both partners have pretty much given up and just retreated.
And this right here, this is the way out. As soon as you and your partner can look at the pattern and say, hey, that's the problem, you can stop fighting each other, you can start fighting the cycle together. The whole conversation shifts from what's wrong with you to look what's happening to us.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? How do we break free from those demon dialogues and really reconnect? Well, this brings us to the very heart of the solution: learning to have a completely new kind of conversation. This is the big difference right here. We get stuck on the surface, don't we? We're arguing about the logistics, the dishes, who's late, how to parent. But the real issue, the emotional music that's playing underneath all that noise, is about our deepest attachment needs.
It's about that raw fear of being abandoned or rejected or just not being important to our partner anymore. A lot of the time, these really intense fights get triggered by what Dr. Johnson calls raw spots. Think of them as old wounds, maybe from your childhood, maybe from a past relationship where you felt left alone or like you didn't matter. So when your current partner unknowingly pokes at one of those spots, your reaction can feel huge, almost out of proportion, because it's carrying all the pain from the past with it. So what's the antidote? It's a specific healing conversation called the hold me tight conversation. And yeah, it requires being vulnerable. Step 1, you share your fears. So instead of saying, you never have time for me, you dig deeper and say something like, I'm scared I'm losing you, that I'm not a priority anymore. Then, Step 2, you state your need clearly. What I really need right now is for you to just pull me close and tell me we're okay. I need you to hold me tight. Now, creating those moments of connection is incredibly powerful. But how do you make sure that bond isn't just a one-time thing? This last part is all about how you turn those healing moments into a strong, secure love that lasts. You can actually measure the health of your bond by the answers to 3 simple questions. It's summed up with the acronym ARE. Are you accessible? As in, can I actually reach you when I need you? Are you responsive? If I reach out, will you respond to me emotionally? And are you engaged? Will you stick with me, value me, and stay close? When you both can say a confident yes to all 3, you've got a secure bond that can get you through pretty much anything. And that really is the incredibly hopeful message of this book. A great relationship doesn't have to be a mystery or something that only lucky people get. By understanding our own wiring for connection and learning how to talk about our needs in a way that pulls our partner closer instead of pushing them away, a resilient, deeply satisfying love is truly possible for every single one of us. So, as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Based on what we've talked about today, what's the demon dialogue that you and your partner get stuck in? What's the real underlying fear and the deeper need that's just below the surface of your arguments? What is that one vulnerable conversation that could be the start of changing everything?